James sensed that, and I remember he said at one point, he's like, look, you'll come in at 2 o'clock, okay? And you can have your car running, and as soon as it's done, as soon as the show's done, you can be out at 6:30. I promise you that.
That is a gig.
And he's right. That's exactly what happens. I come in at 2 o'clock and we're done at 6:30. So it's 4 days a week. So it's great time wise, and I'm trying to adjust to being in LA, and because I still have a place here because I like New York, so I try to come back as much as possible. But I'm trying to adjust to that time chunk and figure out how can I be productive either before or after that chunk, and that's kind of an experiment at this point.
It's kind of refreshing to hear someone talk about how easy their TV gig is. Everybody wants to be like, well, it's actually a lot of hard work, guys. You know, we put in a lot of hours. Like, no, 3 hours. I'm out.
Yeah, oh man, it's crazy. Some people are, Ferguson was doing I think he was clocking in at about an hour 30 every day. He would literally show up and I guess at a certain point they weren't even rehearsing anymore. So he would go in and read the prompt, the monitor, and just be like, who's this our guest? What are they? All right, goodbye. That's it.
If you watched Ferguson, it didn't even look like he was reading the prompter. There was one word and he just sort of played off of it.
Yes.
And then just kept going until it was over.
I know. He's a brilliant guy. I think,
Corden's shooting bits. Corden looks like he's putting in a lot of hours.
Corden works. That's the one thing. I see him, he's in the office at 9 or 8, and they're working with the writers, and he's filming bits, and he's really working his ass off, and that's very evident. I applaud him for that. And but I it's the band that I chose. I really wanted the workload to be minimal as possible. So I got the most overqualified people for the gig possible. And then I told them that we're mainly going to be improvising, so we don't have to
a jazz
rehearse.
conservatory.
Yeah, basically. Well, we got Hagar Ben-Ari, who plays Sharon Jones in the Dap Kings, and a whole slew of other amazing musicians, open for Prince and stuff. And then Guillermo Brown, who's done all manner of amazing indie rock session stuff and touring. And then Steve Scalfati, who built an entire business on being able to reverse engineer any song or sound in the world and be able to mimic it. And then Tim Young, who's just a musical genius, improv master, photographic memory. So everybody in the band, it's like, I'm like, hey guys, can you play? And they're like, yeah. So I'm like, do we need to rehearse that? They're like, no. And I'm like, good. All right.
So even less work for you.
Totally.
You can show up at 2, car running, and then play it. And you leave.
Mind you, it's like, in order for it to be... What's that?
I got to get in on this.
Oh, I know.
This is incredible.
Well, the thing is, obviously, the amount of time that it takes to get to that point, that's a large amount of time. There's definitely 20 years for each of those musicians at least. But I will say that and the reason why it is easy is because of their experience level and their talent level. So, I don't discount that. And easy to me means fun. And so if it's fun, it is easy. And all of these musicians are incredible. Everybody who runs the show is amazing. Some of the old camera operators who used to do Ferguson's show are now on this show. And at this party we had recently, they were just saying, oh my gosh, this is just crazy. I've never been on a gig that I've been surrounded by so many uplifted people that everything is fairly easy. So, I don't know, maybe it's just a new show thing and it'll fade. And
you got 3 months.
Yeah, totally. I hate you. Hi, how are you? It's really good. I don't know.